Hey y'all, it's Amanda, and today we are on to the very last video of my beginner gardening series, and we are on video 14, how to build a garden over time without burnout. And I have thoroughly enjoyed this series, really just creating a group of videos for beginner gardeners that really breaks things down simply to give you the best start possible. And if you want to check out the rest of those videos, there will be a link at the end of this particular video, so you can go see all of them together if you're interested. Okay, so a lot of people don't quit gardening because they're bad at it. They quit because they're exhausted. This is such a key point for gardeners. So today I want to talk about how to build a garden slowly, sustainably, and in a way that feels joyful for years to come. So gardens aren't built in one season, they're built over time, and this is incredibly important. And the most successful gardens are the ones that learn how to pace themselves. So today we're going to go over a bunch of things to chat about. We're going to chat about understand that the gardens are built in phases. We're going to talk about start with soil, not plants. Repeat what works before adding more. Match your garden to your energy, build in maintenance, not just planting, and budgeting over the years, not months. And then finally, accept imperfection as part of the process. Okay, let's start with number one. Understand that gardens are built in phases. Every beautiful garden you admire went through many, many stages. And the most beautiful gardens, I think, are the oldest gardens, the ones that have been around the longest. So what we want to learn about today is gardening happens in layers, and it happens over multiple years. So for example, year number one, you're learning about your space. You're learning about sun, drainage, water, weather. You're really just getting a really good understanding of your space. And then year number two comes around and you're improving soil and structure within the garden, building out beds, building on compost and organic matter within your soil, and just building along those lines. And then year number three, you're refining, you're repeating, you're expanding. You figured out things that work really well for you and you're building on top of that. And that's just the first 3 years. So gardening can go for years and years to come. And as a beginner gardener, it's important to know that this first year of starting to garden, your first year is mostly about observation, it's about discovery, and it's about trial and error. Trial and error being a huge part of gardening, trying things out. If it doesn't work, making a change for the future. Your garden does not need to look finished in order to be successful. You can have lots of success in a beginner garden. It doesn't have to look like it's been there for 20 years. It doesn't have to be perfect in order for you to love it, have success, and for it to be enjoyable. All right, number two is start with soil, not plants. Healthy gardens are grown from the ground up, and soil is by far the most important thing that you can build within your garden over time. And we talked about soil in an earlier video, but touching back on a few of that, improving your soil is going to be adding compost, mixing in organic matter, breaking down that soil so that it really has a lot of nutrients within it. Adding mulch on top to protect the soil, to protect it from drying out, to help retain moisture. And adding additional organic matter over time, worm castings, fallen leaves, whatever debris is occurring within your garden, working in that organic matter to your soil. Soil improvement compounds over time. Working on it a little bit at a time helps improve soil in the long run. So even though I've been gardening for 8 years on this particular property, I'm still adding compost every year. I'm still building on top of that soil. And now that soil for a long time was good. And now it's starting to improve much faster, which is very exciting. Plants are temporary. Soil is permanent. So making those adjustments on that soil so that soil is absolutely beautiful, has lots of nutrients, great drainage, is going to set you up for a beautiful garden in the future. If you improve your soil this year, every plant you grow later will benefit from it. So keep that in mind. Really, the most important thing you can do for your garden is to work on that soil. Okay, number three is repeat what works before adding more. And I think that this is a trap that a lot of us get stuck in. Success isn't about variety, it's about repetition. And it's very easy, especially as a beginner gardener, to just try everything all at once. You want to start a little bit slower, try a little bit at a time, and build up over time. And then even as an established gardener, going back and realizing what is successful in my garden and doing more of that, planting more of that, making changes in accordance with what has been successful is incredibly important. You don't want to always be fighting against the grain, pushing something to work within your garden that isn't happy in your garden. So what do we want to learn from this? Grow the same plants again. All right, grow the same plants again, especially if you have success. Learn their timing, improve their placement, really perfect those particular plants within your garden. And having familiar plants within your garden reduces guesswork, which is great. It reduces stress because you already understand how it's going to work for that plant. And it can be very financially wise to do that because you're not guessing with it. You already know that that plant's going to work and that you're going to have success. So it's not something you're going to have to replace over time. Novelty can wait. The very cool, trendy flowers, those can wait for now. Get in there, get your bases, get your tried and true plants into your garden that have lots of success and build those over time. Then you can go back and add some of the novelty fun stuff in. If zinnias worked one year, grow them again. Absolutely grow them again. Just grow them a little bit better the next year. All right. So keep that in mind. If you have success, do a little tweaking and see if you can improve on that for the future. All right, number 4 is match your garden to your energy. And this is something I wish somebody had told me quite a long time ago. Your garden should support your life, not compete with it. So what we want to learn, energy changes. Your energy changes season to season, year to year. Life changes, your health changes. Everything about your life is continuing to evolve. Your garden needs to be able to match that. So being able to process what amount of time you have per week. Do you have kids? Are you super busy? Are you someone who travels quite frequently? Are you someone who's retired? However, you don't want to live in your garden day after day. You have other things you want to do. Really focusing on what's going to work best for you and creating a garden that fits within that particular lifestyle. It's okay to downsize your garden, especially if you started and now it feels like a lot. Don't give the whole thing up, just downsize it. Close off half of the garden and only focus on a small amount. It's okay to pause in your gardening. I had a massive pause this last summer. I had a back injury and my dog died and I was sad and hurting and I just needed a break. So I literally took 6 weeks off during the summer where I did no gardening. I just let the garden go. And did I lose a lot of plants? I did. Is it okay? It is. It's totally okay. And here I am back ready to go. And it's okay to skip seasons. If you are having an overwhelming summer, don't worry about starting anything for the fall. Skip the fall. Just do your basic maintenance in your garden and get ready for winter when you can take a break. It's okay to skip seasons. I was just chatting with one of my patrons, June, and she ended up not starting her seeds this year. She had a lot going on last year and she just didn't get to it this spring, and it's okay. It's totally okay. It's okay for her to skip. It's okay for you to skip seasons and to start fresh at a different time. Remember, your garden needs to match your energy, not compete with it. Rest is not quitting. It's part of sustainability. And sustainability isn't just for your garden. Sustainability is for you as a person. All right, number 5, build in maintenance, not just planting. And this is a very important part. A garden is easier to maintain when it's planned that way. It is very easy to get wrapped up in planting, and forget about the maintenance. Forget about taking care of the soil. Forget about making sure that the water is going well, pulling up weeds, taking time to observe within your garden. It's really easy to forget about those and only focus on planting. So what we want to learn is to choose. We want to choose fewer high maintenance plants. That's a season that I'm currently in. Fewer high maintenance plants. We want to choose more reliable performers that are going to do beautiful in the garden. If you're out plant shopping, don't choose 12 new plants. Choose 2 plants and get 6 of each of those plants and really work with both of those varieties to learn to grow and to help those perform the best that they can. We also want to learn to group plants with similar needs. So when you're working in an area of your garden and you're having success in a full sun area with one particular plant, let's say cosmos are doing beautiful in that area. Try to look for other plants that are similar to cosmos in their needs. They have similar water needs, similar sun needs, similar drainage needs. Really look at that and try to mimic those needs right there in that area. So making sure that you're choosing plants appropriate for the space. We also want to consider mulch. Mulch is going to save you time later on, helping with moisture retention, helping shade out weeds, helping your garden maintain nutrients or your soil maintain nutrients. It's a really good way to make things a little easier on yourself and maintenance wise. Spacing is also really important for maintenance, making sure you're not overcrowding so that you're not creating an issue with airflow and therefore creating an issue with disease. The best garden designs save you time. So keep that in mind. Remember, you want to build in those maintenance times, not just focus on planting. All right, number 6 on my list is budget over years, not months. You don't need a Pinterest budget to build a beautiful garden. And some of the most beautiful gardens are built over time on pennies on the dollar, all right? And if you're like me, I'm somebody who doesn't have a massive budget to put into my garden every year. I have to build a little bit at a time, and I have done that. I started with a blank slate with this particular property, and it has been fun to build it out of time, and I'm still building 8 years later. I'm still adding beds, and I haven't even really I've only really probably gardened about 60% of my space. I still have quite a bit more space, and I just add a little bit each year as I grow and as I figure out what works best for me. So what we want to learn is we want to spread costs over seasons. Maybe one year you're installing beds. Maybe the second year you're adding perennials. So you want to do a little bit at a time instead of trying to complete an entire garden in one season. You want to make sure you're investing in the quality of your soil, that you're investing in compost and you're investing in mulch. And you want to invest in tools that you will use repeatedly for years and years to come. Some of my favorite places to get gardening tools are estate sales and garage sales. You can get really high-end, beautiful tools that will outlive us all. And those are great places to get those. You also want to consider things like seeds that will stretch your budget long term. Now, will you be working with smaller plants in the beginning if you're starting from seed? Yes, you will. But over time, that $5 packet of perennial seeds might lead to 10 beautiful perennial plants that will be in your garden for the next decade. Gardening is a long-term investment, not a one-time project. And I think that can get very confusing on social media and YouTube and such. You see someone who's like, I'm a weekend warrior. I'm going to do my backyard over the weekend. For real, truly for gardening, it is a long-term thing. Just creating a part of your garden over a weekend and then walking away and being done with it, that's not real gardening at that point. And if you are truly after the sense of being a real gardener, it is done over time, a little bit at a time, learning and adapting to the needs of your garden and your life. Okay, number 7, accept imperfection as part of the process. No garden is ever finished. And boy, is that true. All gardens are changing, adapting. Even some of the world's oldest gardens are still adapting and changing over time. Few things you want to consider. Plants die. They're not all going to live forever. So over the years, you will have to replace, you will have to reconsider what plants you want to put where. You also need to know that weather changes, and weather has already changed in the last 8 years here for me in this particular area. It has gotten hotter. It's definitely gotten hotter over the summer, and I've really definitely had to consider things. Our water availability has changed. Our rain availability has changed. Our rain is not spread out anymore. It's just dramatic downpours and then drought. So a few things that I've had to learn and adapt to over the years. And over time, plans shift. When I started at this particular property, I had a 4-year-old. And now that 4-year-old is in 6th grade. My life has adapted and changed over time. It's become busier as these kids have become busier, and now I'm getting to the end of high school for my oldest. Is heading out to college, so my life has changed, and my garden and the way I approach my garden has had to adapt and change with it. A changing garden means a living garden. A garden that's changing with you over time is just a garden that you are in tune with. And having it change and be willing to allow it to adapt over time is just going to make you a better gardener. And the goal isn't to have the biggest garden or the most plants. The goal is to have a garden you still want to care for. The goal is to have a garden that you want to be out there enjoying. That is the goal. Your garden doesn't have to be Pinterest perfect. Your garden doesn't have to look like your neighbors or somebody on social media. Your garden just has to fit your needs and what you want. Okay, and that is it. And I know that this seems like an odd video to wrap it all up with. I just want to set expectations moving forward for gardening for beginner gardeners, knowing that this is a journey as a gardener. It's not a one-time season thing. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this 14 video series that goes all the way through so many of the basics. And if you have made it through this beginner gardening series, you are already a gardener, which is incredibly exciting. Not because everything went perfectly, but because you showed up, you learned, and you stayed curious through this entire process, which shows your dedication to gardening already. And I'm just so excited for all of y'all. All right, you all, I hope you've enjoyed the series. If you're like me and you're on a gardening journey and you would like to do that with some gardening friends, be sure to check out my Patreon community. The link is in the video description below. It's a great group of people who like to talk about gardening. We talk about gardening almost every day. It's absolutely lovely. If you decide to join and be a certified mad gardener, you have access to lives, exclusive videos only available to patrons, as well as group chats, photo sharing, and direct messaging to me. All right, you all, as always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.